Jason's startled response to Travis's Easter podcast discussion regarding Taylor Swift and Father Ed Kelce. The Kelce brothers returned new heights from Easter vacation with a special extended podcast episode on Tuesday, April 22nd. Starting with his trademark laugh over the microphone, Jason Kelce said, "Bro, this past week has been like a movie. No, a family sitcom," as he threw back his head and laughed, his eyes still bright with the anticipation of a memorable holiday. He emphasized each syllable as though recounting a legend. "And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I watched Taylor Swift get her Easter. Egg breakfast from our dad, Ed Kelce," he added. From the other side of the screen, Travis Kelce, wearing a gray sweatshirt and a bright smile, nodded in accord, his eyes still full of love. "I'm not joking, buddy. Taylor gave my old father the kind of look he got from watching a Yellowstone character. Baby, do you eat egg yolks?" said Dad, as he entered the room with a tray of hot dogs and a bright Hawaiian shirt. Jason slammed his hand on the table while Travis laughed. "That guy is a living legend," Jason said, but the fact that he wore a flamingo shirt and a Chiefs necklace to introduce Taylor was the height of Easter fashion. Travis was chuckling so hard, and you know what? Taylor didn't freak out, she just nodded, smiled, and said, "Yeah, I like yolks, uncle," which made my dad glow all day. "Bro," he said over and over again, "that girl knows that egg yolks are the essence of Easter, honey." Jason shook his head and laughed. "I bet he even told me about how he won an egg-tossing tournament in 9th grade, right?" "Of course," Travis thought to himself. "And he told me about throwing eggs from the backyard to the other side of the wall, which is obviously a distance that can be shortened with age." Taylor listened to it as if she were hearing from a legendary NFL player. Jason put his hands together in a clap. "I told you that old man knows how to steal the spotlight better than his own son." Travis agreed and laughed. "The crazy thing is that after breakfast, Taylor asked my dad to take her for a walk in the yard. To Taylor's surprise, my dad took out his old flip phone and asked, 'Can you show me how to reset my ringtone? I'd like to shake it off.'" After gasping, Jason lowered his head to the table and burst out laughing. "No, don't tell me she actually did it. She actually did it." Travis was about to scream. "She took the phone, sat next to my dad on the bench, set it up with one hand, patted him on the shoulder with the other, and 3 minutes later that Nokia rang with Taylor's voice, 'Shake it off, shake it off.'" As though his stomach ached, Jason closed his eyes and said, "I can't take it anymore. It was the greatest moment in Kelce history." Travis went on, "And then at noon, when everyone was gathered on the back porch for lunch, my dad stood up, beer in hand, and said, 'My son may have played in the Super Bowl, but Taylor Swift is the MVP of this Easter.' I was about to cry. 'Bro,' Jason said, pounding his chest as though he was actually moved. 'For the first time in my life, I saw my dad feel truly connected to someone that wasn't football or beer, and he called Taylor his strategic partner.'" Travis smiled with a little wetness in his eyes. "That was the moment I knew everything was okay, when my dad, who used to wince at Love Story, was now using it as his ringback tone." Jason's hand was on his cheek, still perplexed. "Holy. And how did Taylor react when he told the story about how he almost got picked for a rock band in the 70s? She asked, 'Do you have a demo?' Travis whispered as he leaned into the microphone. And as if nothing could stop them from laughing, both boys started laughing again. Jason inhaled deeply and repositioned himself. "Look, whether it's a joke or not, I have to admit, seeing Taylor integrate into our family with the grumpy old man, the noisy siblings, the kids running around and still keeping that gentle smile, I understand why you love her." After a brief pause, Travis nodded and said, "She's not trying to show off, she's just there being herself, not Taylor Swift the pop star. Taylor, the sweet, funny, listening, loving girlfriend." Jason grinned, his genuine eyes gleaming. "I've never seen my brother this happy, and I'm sure Dad does too. Dad even told me, 'If you don't keep her, don't come home,'" Travis said with a laugh. Jason laughed and flung back his head, saying, "That's Ed." As the brothers reflected on the sentimental occasion, where Easter eggs, ancient phones, garden lunches, and family ties served as the cornerstone for the development of new relationships, the laughter turned to a heartfelt stillness. "And you know," Travis continued slowly, Watching my dad and Taylor sitting together laughing, it was clear to me, family isn't just where you're born, it's where the people you love are welcomed. Jason nodded, pity gleaming in his eyes. Bro, this episode should be called Taylor and Ed, An Unexpected Romance, or at least Eggs and Shake It Off, take your pick, they were both great. Travis chuckled, just don't change the ringtone to Bad Blood if I do anything wrong. The familiar sound of hands slapping the table and laughter resurfaced, capping a lengthy but poignant podcast episode in which the two men discussed bonding, growing up, and how love, no matter how unexpected, can cause a family to burst into laughter. Because there aren't many current updates on Travis Kelce's life, fans have combed through the archives and discovered a humorous old tweet of the NFL legend celebrating Easter. The location of Kelce and Taylor Swift's Easter celebration this year is unknown, and they are maintaining a low profile during some break in their hectic schedules. Since they recently welcomed a new baby into the family, many have conjectured that they are probably in Philadelphia with his brother Jason, but they seem to be making every effort to hide their location. As a result, supporters are now getting their Kelce fix in the only way they know how, by searching through the archives for an old tweet from 2010 that celebrated the occasion. 2 years into his undergraduate career with Cincinnati, Kelce, then 20 years old, said on social media, "Happy Easter to all, shout out to Jesus for taking one for the team, haha." After the old post went viral on Easter Sunday of 2025, a full 15 years after it was first published, the message received 832 reposts, most of which are recent. Days after the Kansas City Chiefs faced criticism for an online poll published by the producers of his well-liked New Heights podcast, Kelce sent out a tweet that went viral. Swift, Kelce's fiancée, was included in a few of the questionnaires' questions. Swift's supporters called the Chiefs star a sad clout chaser and called the survey crazier. For instance, listeners were asked to list up to 3 reasons for why they first began listening to New Heights. Some of the statements include, I was drawn to the football-specific commentary and analysis of games. I was drawn to the Kelce family dynamic, and I was drawn to the prospect of hearing details and clues about Taylor Swift's life and her relationship with Travis. Another statement relates to Kelce's girlfriend. Another choice said, I like feeling like a part of the community that supports Taylor's happiness outside of her music. Swift was mentioned in the survey, which angered many of the singer's fans. One person remarked, "This is so fucking gross. This is going to be so embarrassing. Why would they do this?" Someone else asked. A third person said, "I've never seen more pathetic clout chasing." Another person questioned Travis, "Why did you let Wondery ask about Taylor in relation to your podcast?" The questions about Taylor and their relationship are so weird and gross. What's the goal here? Taylor Swift's Eras Tour was attended by NFL writer Erin Andrews and her spouse, Jarrett Stoll. Thanks to Swift and her boyfriend Travis Kelce's kindness, the pair had a lovely setup during the show. On the April 16th episode of the Calm Down podcast, Stoll stated, "For a 3.5-hour concert, it went by in an hour basically. It seemed like an hour. We had a good setup." Andrews and Stoll were appreciative of the VIP treatment they received at the concert. "Shout out to Travis and Taylor for hooking us up in the tent," Stoll said. Swift and Kelce appear to be becoming close friends with Andrews and Stoll. In reality, Swift and Kelce met Andrews earlier this year when on vacation in Montana. A source informed Page 6 that Andrews went to the Auric Room for supper with Swift and Kelce. Taylor and Travis are good friends with Aaron, and Travis even jokes that Aaron encouraged Taylor to date.